Hey guys, I'm Amelia Newcomb. Thanks so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Also, if you are interested, sign up for my email list. So today we are talking about what to do when your horse pulls and what not to do. I think that we've all been on a horse where you feel like they just kind of lock and pull against you, and it's not a good feeling. Let me know if you've experienced this in the comments below. So today I'm going to first show you what not to do and then hopefully give you some tips of what to do. Okay, so we'll start with what not to do because that's pretty obvious. So the most common thing that people do is this. So they tip forward and they pull back on both reins. So this is like the most ineffective thing that you can possibly do. For one, because just the physics of it, like your horse's neck is probably much bigger around than your whole body and probably 20 times bigger around than your arm. So there's no way that the force of your arm is going to outpull your horse's neck muscle. It's just not physically possible no matter how much you go to the gym. And then as far as the tipping forward thing, you know, your seat, when your horse pulls, you want to feel them that they pull you deeper into the saddle. So if you're leaning forward, again, as far as from a physics standpoint, it weakens your position. So those are the two biggest no-nos when your horse pulls, is just pulling back against it or tipping forward, which is what everyone's instinct is to do. Okay, so what should you do? Usually if a horse is pulling, it's for one of two reasons. One is that they don't understand the pressure of the bit. So horses they don't like pressure, they want to give to pressure. So if they're just pulling, it could be that they really don't understand how to get that pressure to go away, and you need to explain it to them. The other reason that a horse might pull is that they've just been trained that way. So maybe they've had people just hanging in their mouths their entire lives. So first of all, I like to start by teaching my horse how to give to the pressure of the bit. So this is like a very simple thing, and a lot of people, you know, it's like, oh, well, they need to be going forward over the back to the hand, and yes, that's all true, but your horse needs to first just simply understand the pressure of the bit and give to it. So I have some groundwork videos, which I'll link. I like to start teaching my horse how to give to the pressure of the bit from the ground. But when you're on your horse, you can start by just simply, you know, teaching them that, like, when you come with one rein, that you want your horse to give to the pressure. There was a fly there, so that was kind of cheating. But if I come with my right rein, right, I want him to just give to that pressure. And when he gives, he gets slack and his head goes back. If I take my left rein, he gives his neck left, and then I give the rein back. Once you have that at the halt, then you can go and start doing that at the walk. So, you know, this is just very simple pressure and release. So I'm walking my horse along. Now, when I take a little pressure on the left rein, I want him to give his neck to the left, and then I release that pressure, loose rein. Same thing to the right. When I touch with the right rein, I want my horse to bend his neck around to the right, and then I'm going to release. It's super important when you do this that your horse's body follows his head. So when I touch and his head looks around, I want his body to follow that. What you don't want is where your horse just gives his neck and keeps going, like trajecting that way in a straight line. You always want their body to follow their head. The reason this is important is because if your horse bolts off with you and you need to turn it in a circle to get it to stop, if they just fold their head around and keep running, you're in trouble. But if when you bend their head around, they turn, then you have a chance of getting control of them. So that's a very important piece. Now, once my horse understands about giving to the pressure of one rein, I start by getting them to give to the pressure on both reins. So I usually start this at the walk because the halt can be too confining for a lot of horses. So what I do is I'm walking along And I'm just going to simply shorten up the reins. Take a little pressure on both reins, keep the rhythm the same. And when my horse gives his neck and drops his neck in and stays very light for a few steps, then I'm simply going to just drop the reins and pet him. Again, we're trying to teach our horse pressure and release. So I'm simply saying, okay, I'm going to put pressure on the bit. When you drop your head in, now I release the pressure. So I'm teaching my horse to give pressure and release. You can do that at the trot also. So just pick up trot. I'm just kind of going on a loose rein. And now I'm going to teach my horse that when I take pressure, I want him to stay trotting, but I want that neck to drop in. And then I'm going to release. Oh boy. Okay, so let's go back to if your horse pulls. So if you have a horse that gets really strong and is pulling, a few things you can do. So once you kind of say, okay, well, he understands the pressure of the bit, but he's still not giving, here's some exercises to do. One is small circles. So again, I'm going to ask my horse to turn. Once he's turning, I'm going to try and soften that inside rein. So getting a bend and a turn in your horse where you can give the inside rein is going to break that up so that you're not pulling on them, which is super, super important. So I'll show you again. If my horse is pulling on me and strong, I'm going to bend him and turn him until I can soften on the inside rein. And then I might do the same the other way. The second that he gets strong, I'm going to bend and turn and then be able to soften on the inside rein. So circles are a great exercise for a horse that pulls. Another great exercise is transitions. So if you have a horse that gets really strong and just kind of wants to go faster than you want it to, transitions are a really good tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say make a transition to the walk, and when my horse walks, I'm going to release the pull. So that's really important that that you find moments to release. Then you can go back up to the trot again. Good boy. And then again, I'm going to walk, and then I'm going to release that pull. So it's super important when your horse wants to pull that you don't just lock against them, but that your half halts are kind of intermittent where you say slow down, give, slow down, give, slow down, give. The other thing that's really important to consider is your position. So if you have a horse that gets strong and pulls, you don't want to just take it up in your arm. You want to take it up in your upper back, in your core, and in your inner thighs. So if my horse pulls on me, I'm not just going to lean forward and take it in my bicep. I'm going to put my knees into the saddle. I'm going to stay a little back. I'm going to take it up kind of in my armpit, my back, my core, and my knees. So comment below. Let me know if you have a horse that pulls and if this has helped you. Thanks for watching.
Keep pushing you away while I want you to stay. Amazing gold his eyes, but my heart still beats. When I say no, it's yes. I'm putting you to the test. Can you handle me? Do you have the key? Sorry that I've been playing games. Do you really have what it takes? I guess so, I guess so. I guess so, I guess so. I am a queen, I need my king. Are you bad enough to sin? I think so, I think so. I think so, I think so. Okay, let me just be honest with you. I want you, want you, want you. And okay, I've been running circles all the time.